Oh, okay. It's really good for the gas prices though, because the gas prices finally came down. They're like four something now, but at the Costco it's like 51 cents cheaper. So you can get it for like $3 a gallon. So
because they're sort of going to the philosophy of you don't have to charge more because everybody's doing it.
and I remember we talked about this a couple weeks ago where it was leaked that the financial not the well the financial executive and the CEO were on a phone call with some of the investors and they were trying to pressure Costco to raise their prices, and Costco was like no, and then they're like customers are more than happy to pay more, and I'm like, are you freaking, maybe when you have bazillions of dollars, like that's okay, but regular people, no, I don't want to pay higher prices, and
Nobody's happy to.
no.
It's hard here because I live in an area that's very family oriented. It's a family community. So it's hard for me to buy things because everything's family portions. So if I buy stuff, I have to divvy it up and freeze the rest of it. My freezer is tiny. I don't have that much space in it. It's like, oh, man.
We just bought a whole bunch of groceries the other day. Like we were feeding 55,000 people with the little boy and the fish and the loaf, but I guess it'll be the freezer will keep it. Oh, wait.
Oh, hey, Lena.
Bonjour. How are we all?
And we are live, so don't say nothing incriminating.
We came in mid-conversation live.
Oh, I just noticed that Johnny's thing says Tarot's Apprentice, the Prince of Petty.
Oh, wow. There's a title.
Where's your crown, Johnny? Where's your crown? You need a crown.
I don't have a crown.
We're going to get you a petty crown.
I need to get one, though, don't I?
Yeah.
Crown with little petty boots.
I have a crown over there. I don't wear it, though.
Thank you, Impish. I'm going to get one. I didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say thank you to the people that have been PayPaling donations instead of super chatting. I don't see those till after the live streams. But thank you to those of you that have been PayPaling donations.
And PayPal used to give us, maybe good or bad, I guess, used to give us your email so we could email you back and say thank you, but it doesn't do that anymore. So I don't want you to think we ignored you, but
I can see the name, and if you type a message, I can see that, but I can't see your email anymore.
Yeah, you can't reply anymore because
and it's the same with PayPal. I'd like to just thank people on the spot, but you can't just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I've gotten a couple of PayPal donations, and it's like they updated the system, and then you can't go to reply or send a message to say thank you. It's just
those are greatly appreciated. So we do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and don't you hate upgrades? Every improvement sets you back 5 years.
I get to be a creature of habit, and then we've updated the system. It's like
hate that. Hate improvements. Leave it alone.
Yeah, me and they want to know how your recital was. Yeah.
Oh, well, I was telling Becca and Johnny, I was last, so I had to sit there through everybody else, and just sitting there getting more and more nervous, and because I was last, I didn't have any time to warm up. And I'm sitting in the back of the room, and from the outside door being open and closed a few times, it was cold in the back, so my hands got cold. So I got up there to play Blackbird, which is pretty fast picking with the right hand. I couldn't get my hand moving. It was like, oh my God, my hand's frozen up. By the second song, which my teacher sang, we did Time in a Bottle. Thank you, Running Sloth. He sang it beautifully, and his singing covered up some of my mistakes I made. So that was beautiful. And then the last song, which was my best, I got my guitar teacher's girlfriend to record it. I was hoping to upload it to my channel, but the sound is a little off on it, so it's hard to hear. It sounds tinty. I think it's where she was standing in relationship to the speakers we were hooked into. Anyway, the psychic played If You Could Read My Mind, Gordon Lightfoot, and then that was my best song of the night.
I'd forgotten Gordon Lightfoot. Oh my God.
It's like, I have to post If You Could Read My Mind on my channel as the psychic, right?
I associate those songs with when I was roller skating at 13 or 14.
Mhm.
It was Tom Jones, Delilah, it was Gordon Lightfoot, it was all those.
Yeah. My first job at 14, besides babysitting, was working in a skating rink. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And where I lived, it was really rough. And the skating rink actually had chicken wire around it. It was like the Blues Brothers, because people
So they
would throw
can't
beer
move.
cans. Classy.
Mm.
Love it.
Well, welcome to everyone. Hopefully you're okay and doing good out there. Thank you, well-being and health. The Super Bowl is on apparently, so
Yeah, Peanut's watching it.
hope y'all enjoying that.
14-21 right now.
Wait,
Eagles
who's winning? Who's winning? The Kansas
Eagle-
City Chiefs or Philadelphia?
Eagles are 21, Kansas City 14.
I want
Oh,
the
okay.
I have it muted so I can keep up.
I want the Eagles to win just because I don't like the Kansas City Chiefs, but whatever.
There you go.
That's my only logic. Okay.
I have no idea. I didn't even know the Super Bowl was on until yesterday. When we went to the store and some lady that was in front of us, very talkative, was like, "Yeah, I got to get home and I forgot this and this and this, and I got to fry my chicken for tomorrow in the Super Bowl." And I don't know.
Well, I
If
do
you
know
didn't say the
Rihanna
word
is doing
San
the
Francisco
halftime
49ers, I don't know.
entertainment, so she's got to top Beyonce now. Good luck
Yeah.
with that.
That's what they say.
I did see they had Chris Stapleton sing the Star Spangled Banner, which was interesting. You know, I love his voice. He's got a great voice. But it was interesting hearing his style of singing the Star Spangled Banner, because we're used to the big divas coming out and singing that.
Oh yeah.
Having a
Okay.
little country edge to it, blues.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's how they're saying it nowadays. Is they had a football game at the Beyonce concert, so now
Yeah,
we're having a football game at the Rihanna concert.
Yeah, it's like
I don't even know how people can afford to go to those games because those tickets are like in the thousands to go to the Super Bowl, especially for people that are flying in from out of state. It's even more.
I think still my favorite Super Bowl halftime was Prince playing Purple Rain in the downpouring rain. That was like epic.
They
and
have
he'd still be with us if he hadn't been a Seventh-day Adventist and wouldn't take the medical treatment.
Oh,
And that predates all this stuff now. Okay. He would have been here.
I just saw they were reposting like all the past Super Bowl performances, and one for Michael Jackson popped up, and he was on the stage and he was like standing still for like 2 minutes. I said, that is the only person I will watch just stand there and do nothing and still be mesmerized.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to hand it to him. In Australia, I'm a league girl, and the best halftime we ever had was Tina Turner.
Oh, I love Tina Turner.
I love
She
Tina.
had the
You are
best
the best.
legs.
And
had the
simply the
best
best.
legs.
Right.
Mhm.
And people still talk about it, and it was probably 20 years ago.
I
was
saw her in
amazing.
concert several times, and she put on a show every time.
The only halftime show I remember was Janet Jackson and what's his face?
Justin Timberlake when they had the
And
Oh,
now that turned
famous
into a whole
reveal.
scandal. I was
What
like,
was-
it's the boob, people.
Yeah.
Get over it. You know, like, it turned
Wardrobe
into-
malfunction, my butty. You know, like it was
She was
already all
supposed to be.
sparkly just in case it fell out. You know.
She was supposed to be honored at the Grammys this year, but her problems with the CBS and so forth prevented that. So she apparently on their side demanded an apology for the way she'd been treated these years, and then they said no, and so she said, well, I ain't coming. So they didn't give it to her.
Yeah.
And so there you go.
There you go.
Anybody got any announcements? Jen, you got anything coming up?
Tuesday, I'll be live at 5 Eastern, 4 Central with Lori on my channel, Lori from The Way of Positive Change, for Valentine's. There's a community post on my channel for questions love related or Valentine's related or political related, or who's Melania sleeping with now. We'll take any of those. We'll go petty.
Oh, Joyce in the comments calls it Nipplegate. I think
That's what they were
we
calling
did
it.
have Nipplegate.
Mhm. Lena, you got any announcements?
No. No, that's it.
Well, that's you, isn't it? Okay. Becca, you got anything?
So remember when I texted you yesterday and then I kind of flaked at the last minute because my brain was like fried. So if you're up to it this week, if that's okay, maybe go do a live together again and do another GT together if you're okay. I know you were okay with it the other day, but my brain was just like, it was gone.
I woke up at 4 in the afternoon and I didn't get up till like 6:30 because I was just laying there. And then
Is that AM or PM, John?
PM.
I knew
Because
that.
I don't sleep until the white ball of death comes out. So I hide from the sun and then I go to sleep and then I'm up in the middle of the day. But I like get up and I find my earphones and then so I laid there for another hour and a half just listening to music. And then eventually I got up when my stomach started doing noises and things. It was like, well, you ain't ate since yesterday, so you might want to get up. There's that.
Yeah, it's interview with a vampire territory. With
So just a shameless plug as part of my announcement. So I am doing readings again. So 1 hour and grand tableaus. I just did one Friday for a client. I see her in the chat. I see you with my eyeballs. So there's people in the chat that if they want to give feedback, that's cool too. If not, that's cool too. So
the grand tableaus take 2 hours, don't they?
Yeah. But it's all there. And it's much easier when you have a person instead of like that you can get feedback on to see which way you got to go versus
just doing a cold anonymous.
Doing it cold and interpreting it 18,000 different ways.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I've heard phenomenal things about your readings.
So
yes, that's good. And that reminds me, because I forget to announce it, but I will be doing readings through March and then not for a while after that because I'm going to the USA. So if you want a reading in the meantime, my email is on every video.
And are you also doing, I guess when you get back, are you going to be doing courses and classes and stuff too?
Yeah. And I'm thinking about doing classes for people who are already reading and want to learn how to do past life readings. And I'm trialing that at the moment, but they're not available yet. So I'm just talking about personal readings, or you can have a past life reading.
Which I've gotten a past life reading from Auntie Lena, and I can vouch that stuff is cool.
Thank you.
There's a video on my channel from, I want to say 2 years ago, where you did a past life reading on me, where we did it by Skype and uploaded it. So if you want to see,
it's probably more.
It's a little bit edited down because we did it like a half hour. So it's a little bit compacted from what you get, when you're in person with Lena.
Okay. I love doing them. And I've learned so much about history because you're taken to all these places and you think, I better find out what that world was like. So it's good.
Okay. So we shall get into the mud here. And
get your petty hats on, people. We're going.
And your rain boots.
Yeah.
What do you call rubber boots in the US? We call them gum boots.
Rain boots.
Rain boots.
Rain boots.
Well, I think back east they call them galoshes. Like I think in like the Boston.
Yeah, that's old school, isn't it? Yeah.
Galoshes or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's start with the gift that keeps on giving, just like herpes.
Let me guess. George Santos?
Santos.
Oh,
I just want to do.
They're going to create a Santos clause now.
If we could do I don't know how you want to do it for Lenormand, but if we could do like a general finance reading, I just want to see where they are. as a new freshman congressperson, then he shouldn't have that much money. But can we do a general?
He's now on a
finance
salary of $174,000 a year.
Mhm.
That's why he ain't going nowhere till they push him out and change the locks. You know.
So they just want to fly.
So we're looking at Santos's finances. Yeah.
Yes. Just is he? What does it look like? Got a bunch of people around him. That's what I'm really looking for. But let's see.
Santos clause. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Santos is doing the halftime show.
He's one of the dancers.
Is that work song? That's his. Okay.
Well, he's working with other people on his money that he had, but I get he's getting down to the crumbs on that, and it's making him a little emotional. That I'm getting that came from a Russian oligarch. That's my Mother Russia card. And he's trying to hang on to every penny he's got now. He's having to watch his finances. But I get the investigation's coming in. He's about to have a court date over his finances.
Lena, what you get?
Yeah. Well, there he is, the page of wands, the talker. Interesting. Yeah. But he's wedged in between two kings here. He's wedged in between Biden, which I think is the Dems, trying to have him dismissed, and the King of Pentacles representing the Republicans who want to keep him because he's a vote. And this is the dirty money. And so I didn't go further, but I agree with Jen Lynn. There's going to be all sorts of ugly when they start looking. But the amounts of money don't seem enormous to me. It's the fact it's still illegal and he still keeps doing whatever he's doing. It's 3,000 here and 20,000 there, and yeah, to me.
But all his $199.99 business expenses to stay under the $200.
That was awesome.
Becca, what you get?
So I did a box spread, but I'll try to keep it short. There's more stuff coming out that may have to do with a dog or dogs, plural, not the one that died, but other ones that may be coming up to where he was defrauding people there as well. There's something here that is going to be very, 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 very bad news in regards to how he raised money for the elections with Crossroads and Clouds. But his stability and everything that he has achieved it's man, anchor, coffin on that last column. It's ruined. So I don't see anything legal per this spread, and I didn't even set a timeline. I just said the current status of his finances. It's going to be long-term issues, and it's like there's a serious loss at the end of it. So I don't know if it's money that he's fraudulently raised.
He did have a charity, an animal charity, that the charity said the people that were supposed to get the money said they never saw a penny.
No, it's not just that. There's multiple things that have to do with dogs.
Yeah.
So because it's Crossroads, Clouds, and dogs. It's not just the charity, and it's not just the dead dog.
It wasn't just the guy that he was trying to raise for the surgery. He had another charity thing where it was a whole animal charity.
But there's another one besides that one. It's more than two, because it's Lily's Crossroads Man and then Crossroads Snake Dog, or Crossroads Clouds and Dog. It's
wow. So we got one more we got to hear about.
There's probably one more, or maybe more than one. And what he was doing was, if I read this, Lily's Nights to Anchor, Lily's Nights to Dog, It's like, it's not a charity. It's like the thing looked legit up front. Okay. The dogs were small or young, child and dog. So younger dogs,
Like
new
Puppy
dogs,
Mill or something.
something like that. And then there was roads to where the money came in, and the money was supposed to go out. There's a man that was supposed to deliver a check in the mail, or a check, man, letter, fish. But with the whip here, it's like the pen to paper is false. Something happened in the check where either the signature was changed with Snake and Clouds, it was fraudulent because there was payment or a new transaction for small dogs or a new dog, and the payment for the dogs and the payment back from the dogs. Does that make sense? How, or am I not making sense?
He might have used another one of his aliases.
I'm not saying aliases. It's coming from him, but it's how he did something with small dogs, puppies, or new dogs. With child and dog, I would say small dogs, new dogs, baby dogs, you know?
Yeah, like a puppy.
So there's something there. I don't know if it's adoptions. I don't have storks, so I don't think it's adoptions. I have fish. So there was,
Purchasing.
he was with the fish, that's transactions and shopping. So he was like shopping for dogs or selling dogs that are babies, if that makes sense. There's something there with the check.
That's interesting because New York and New Jersey have shut down a lot of the puppy mills that they had. And if he was doing some black market puppy mill stuff for, pet shops and stuff, that could get really nasty.
Oh, you know what they're saying? I just see it here. Terry, Becca, he wrote bad checks to Amish for puppies. I don't know what that is.
Amish puppy mills.
Yeah, he bought dogs from the Amish with bad checks. And then he sold the dogs on. So in other words, he didn't pay for the dogs in the first place and sold the dogs, but the check was foul too.
Well, that last row is man, coffin, and man, anchor, and coffin. So it's like ruin on everything. So, and his businesses get shut down, his fraudulent businesses, but that's what I get.
I get this.
You have to be to defraud about animals, man. Like,
I mean, it's Anthony DeVolder. The person who went to middle school with him said that's his name. His name is. They never knew him as George Santos.
Yeah.
Well, his source of his money here with the Empress card, it comes from multiple places here with the Seven of Cups. It's going to be very hard to pin all down. I don't know if somebody is necessarily looking into that, but I do get the investigator with the Hermit. So that's in his sort of bad news, his word of warning. The Two of Wands and the Seven of Swords. There's another scheme cooking. It has something to do too with him in the house. And so he's got something here, but he's going to regret that because he's not covering it up very well. Well, he doesn't cover anything up very well, but he didn't cover this up very well either. So there's going to be some regrets on that. His money is coming from multiple places, but it's investments. Nobody's giving him money because they like his shoes. They're giving him money because they need him to do something. They need him to also network. And that is going to be proven to be a problem too, because there's the Five of Wands. And so he has nothing but chaos around him. Everybody is saying, okay, get him out of here, get him out of here. But he was planted. Seven of Pentacles. He didn't just come out of nowhere. He was planted.
Did you see where he was saying he created the Devolder organization in 2001? He's 34 years old. That means he would have been like 13 when he created the Devolder Corp. It's like, yeah, every 13-year-old goes who supposedly grew up in a basement apartment goes out and creates an organization.
He's a savant. He's a savant.
He's special. He's special.
But speaking of conflict, him and Mitt Romney are apparently not friends. Mitt Romney said he's an embarrassment and he shouldn't be here. And then Santos fired back at Mitt Romney and was calling him names and tried to
said that he'll never be president, and
You
he
know.
was being too Mormonish.
So my question is, I want to see what the relationship between him and Mitt Romney is. It going to get worse, and are other people going to start piling on as well publicly? Are they going to start piling on too?
Will it go as far? Could our question go as far as will the Republicans stitch in?
The Republicans, because the Democrats we know don't.
Yeah. Okay, so more
on
Republicans
on his side, will more of them start to throw the spitball too?
Yeah. Republican.
Well, we were talking before we started about Representative Mace, who's a Republican, spoke at the press conference dinner, and she was all over the whack jobs on the Republican side. She was dissing McCarthy and Santos and Boebert and MTG, all of them.
Was she really?
Oh, she was ripping them all apart.
Is she on the committee? Because I saw her on the committee and she was talking trash about the vaccines being fake or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's saying one thing to the Republicans, but then she steps into the chamber for a committee and she's spewing the same nonsense too.
But to speak because that's a bipartisan thing where Dems and Republicans are there for the press conference dinner, to diss people in your own party that like you're getting tired of them. That was major, I thought.
And that's the problem they've got with her generally. She is not a team player. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Will they pile on? I've got a sort of yes and no scenario here. So I'm using the circus cards because why wouldn't you with him?
Why not?
And this is the Eight of Pentacles, and if you look at the image in this deck, it's actually piling more things onto a wagon. So that's sort of, yes, more of them coming on board. I think this is Kevin McCarthy as the new whipmaster thing going, no, it's okay, if he's live inside, meaning he's a warm body, we've got to keep him. So the Queen of Swords, I think this is a woman coming forward who's going to really lash this guy to the wheel, like she's going to have something to say. But they're chained to the devil, and every sort of illegal, bad practice, everything that's not even illegal but shouldn't be done, they can't help themselves. So my answer is I think more will, but it won't be enough for them to expel him. It might happen legally, but not through them.
I agree. I think it's going to be like Trump when McConnell said, let the courts handle Trump as opposed to impeachment, removing him. They're going to be fighting over how he got his money and everything, and the truth's coming out on that. He will be defending himself, and his wall's getting thinner tells me he has less support. But he's going to have some that are cheering him on right to the end.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to, are we talking about George Santos? Anthony DeVolder? What's his face?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking about the Grand Tableau that we just did, Johnny and I. And at the time that we did it, his present column was Fox in the House of Clouds, Scythe in the House of Fox, Man, Mountain, and Cross. When I was saying job loss or something about his job gets cut off because it's House and Scythe, and then Scythe is sitting on House Fox. So it's almost like it's reiterating. And then when you follow him across, it's Man, Ship, Stork. So he transitions and moves. So I wasn't able to tell if he like tries to flee, but it was showing that it's like he gets cut off from work. There's something that happens where there's a job loss.
I think he'll definitely go one way or another, but it won't be through them making an ethical decision to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. I get that there's a good chance House writer clover. So news from the House that's pretty positive. So
Fingers crossed.
I know.
I mean, maybe this is the thing that needs to happen to show the world how hard it is to get rid of something like this. Because everybody wanted Trump gone in 10 days, but it was like one of those, there's a process to this, and it could take years sometimes for these things to develop and unfold and da-da-da-da-da. So anyway, I get the Magician and the Two of Wands. So the manipulation has plans. They are scheming behind the scenes. There's the Tower and the Emperor, something to cut off someone from power or authority or position. So someone is doing some dark room conversations, but the Nine of Wands and the Eight of Swords, he ain't going nowhere unless you know.
That's right.
Unless he falls down a flight of steps or something. Still.
Yeah, you'd have to carry him out.
I get Justice and the Hierophant, something like that. But he's there until he's not. You just okay. So that brings me to my last Santos question. Thank you, Adrian. His political future. He is raising money right now, but he has not declared himself a candidate for 2024.
Wait, hold on. He's raising money right now, and the whole world knows what a liar and a fraud he is?
Yes.
Sorry, are we talking the Yeti or DeSantis?
No, the Santos, George Santos.
Oh, George
from New York.
He's raising money right now.
Yeah.
While
he's people from New York standing in the hallway outside of the office demanding that he goes.
he's raising
money
right now while he's under investigation for how did you get the money and where did it come from?
Yeah.
This guy has balls, man.
And they told him either declare yourself a candidate for 2024 or you have to stop raising money, because that is the reason you raise money, is to run for office. And so he's not declared himself a candidate for 2024. So I want to know, what is his political future? Does he plan to keep this going, or?
Trump did it. He was raising money before he announced, going to rally after rally, grift after grift.
Okay.
If they're not going to hold him to account on campaign finance fraud, they're going to do it.
The wheels of justice are slow.
Well, yeah. I think the wheels of justice have just fallen off, like.
That's what happens when you put bicycle wheels on a bus.
That's right. But at the same time, he's low-hanging fruit. So there's more chance of him getting into legal trouble than the big boys.
He's not a McConnell.
He's not a McConnell.
It was a dark and stormy night.
As I just pulled the devil.
I did too. And I was shuffling the whole time we were talking.
He's got some agreement.
Go, Jen.
Oh, sorry. He's got some agreement with somebody. It was a dark and stormy night, and knock, knock, here comes legal. And he's going to be defending himself in court, and another investigation is going to come out on him also. The court has strength over him and whoever he's working with. So I think he's looking at jail time. So I don't know. This could be Bubba's new cellmate that he's making friends with here. But I also get he may change from being a Republican. So he might flip and either become an independent or a Dem.
Yeah, reinvention. I think you're right. That's brilliant. I hadn't thought of that, but it's so likely. Yeah, well, this is the Three of Pentacles, working madly to get money any way he can with this Devil card. He might get jail time, but I think the problem with someone like George Santos is because each offense is treated separately and none of them are massive. I mean, campaign fraud would be the biggest, but I don't know that that's where the legal energy will go. So he'll get maybe a little, very small jail sentence. End outcome, 5 of Pentacles. Only $5 to his name. Oh my God.
His political future is null and void. I got heart. What is this? Garden letter, child snake. It's done. There's something there about his love of popularity or his love about being social and stuff like that. And it could also be the campaign itself. The results of the campaign, they're still very small. So, but the whole thing is bad. The mail that goes to the campaign is bad. So with the heart and the letter and the snake, you can basically say those love letters they're fake. You know what I mean? So it's almost like this whole campaigning. I get no money cards. A small campaign or a new campaign that he's doing or a fundraiser sort of thing. It's all fault and it ends up in trouble for him. So
can't you see the Republicans talking to him and telling him, "Oh, you need to switch to the Dems and let them take care of you."
Oh yeah, like anybody in the Dems would be like, "Oh yeah, come over here and grift off of." No, he would be out.
Well, they would make him resign, but it's like I could see them because they don't take care of their own problems. So I could see them saying, you need to convert to being a Dem.
I just can't with this guy. It's like that they're 2 seconds away from giving you an anal probe, and you have the gall to just stick it in their face and do it again. Like,
I get he is defending himself, futuristically speaking. The 7 of Wands.
Is he going to claim executive privilege?
There's something about stories he tells with the Knight of Cups that he's going to have to defend against. This is different. Like I said before, and people were wondering why wasn't he vetted and all these different things. Okay, fine. But you know him now. And so running again, being that person, no. So it's because these are not just Dems calling you to resign. These are also Republicans saying you shouldn't be here either. And these are Republicans who are taking bus trips to come stand outside your office and say, get out. We don't want you representing us. The governor is saying you're a distraction. Get out. Like everybody is parroting the same thing. So he's defending against the false knight here. He is defending against all the stories that he has told. The Judgment and the 9 of Pentacles. Judgment comes down upon your security. And so I don't think you really have any more there because you get the 5 of Wands, which your leadership ends in the 5 of Wands and the Devil. So, Walmart's hiring it. That's okay.
He claimed he was working in his office, taking calls from his constituents. And I'm like, no, you're not. Otherwise, 1,500 people wouldn't have got on a bus and come knocking on your office door. You're not.
But see, this is where you guys get it wrong, though. He wrote the Constitution. Okay, so he knows.
It was called the George-Titution, but they changed the name.
Lena, you're muted.
Lena,
you're muted.
Mute. Here's the thing. The Dems do it the long way and the hard way, like they're putting up this, proposal to have him dismissed. No, they should just be out there every day saying, you watch, these Republicans won't get rid of this guy. Day after day, week after week, they won't get rid of him and just embarrass them.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be more effective than another vote on another thing. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, Lena, I get what you're saying. I'm totally behind that. I really am. But there's a part of me that's like, can you really shame the shameless?
Well, no, but that's absolutely right. But you just bring it up. You watch, this guy's been shown to do this, and that. They won't do it. Just say it and move on.
Even Mitt Romney had words with him on the floor the other day during the State of the Union.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Told him he
enough.
was an
Not
embarrassment.
enough. Every microphone, you just say that, move on to another thing is what I'm saying. And just point out how gutless they are.
Mhm.
And therefore corrupt. If you support the corrupt, you are therefore corrupt. So that's unspoken.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
throw a bit from the gutter occasionally, please. Damn.
That's what I say. You can say you're not racist, but if you vote for Donald Trump, you're racist adjacent. You are still standing right next to. So it's either you're with them or you're not.
If you vote for Ron DeSantis, you're racist and a misogynist and a pig. You know. So
I lied. I have one more Santos question. His former employee that he fired, that he also is accused of sexually harassing. Apparently, they were in the office and he said, "Hey, let's go hang out." So they went to karaoke and stuff like that. And so the guy said he grabbed his groin and harassed him. And then, of course, when he didn't comply, then he got fired.
He slapped him.
And so what I want to know, yes, he slapped it. So what I want to know, will anything come from that or no? Will he get any sort of, because the letter went to the desk of some other representative or somebody, I forget what her name was. And she said the story cannot be corroborated because it was just those two. So it's he said, she said. So that's one of those kind of cases to where do you just blame or believe the victim because it's the victim? And this usually is how this occurs, where it happened to them, but nobody's there to see it. Therefore, the perpetrator gets away. Or maybe this is a pattern of behavior and more people are going to start coming out and said, he did this to me too. Or like, what's going to come of this? Anything?
Anything. Oh, no.
what were we calling them the other day, Johnny? The GOP, the grabby old perverts.
Yeah.
That's them.
That's two of them now. Two of them. Like,
and he asked him, do you have a Grindr profile? Which means he does somewhere out there.
In the comments, Froxy says Santos will kick the winning field goal in the second half. Well, anything. Maybe yes. I think this won't be the only one. Others will come forward here. And here's the card of the lovers. I think there might be other cases that go a bit further than this one, who will speak out and he'll have to defend himself.
They could be myself and I.
Yeah, this has been going on a long time. I think there's probably 7 or 8 people that are going to come forward on similar charges where he's unwanted sexual advances. You know, I think it's going to end up being like a class action lawsuit of some kind eventually. Like there's enough people that come forward. That's when it'll work, when it's class action.
I get that, yes, something will come out of it. Some of it may have to do with perhaps a female journalist that finds something and writes something about it.
Oh, okay.
Or a woman that has knowledge of these affairs because it's woman book and art. But this is a very well-known, well-recognized woman. It's Star's son woman. So I don't know if it's somebody that he worked with or what, but there's a woman that has knowledge on it who might be a reporter. That has knowledge of the affairs. So I get something will come out of it. I
think his name is Derek Myers. He's here. He is burdened by position, the position that he is in with the hangman in the 10 of wands. So it's not going to be an easy prove or easy thing to push forward. However, the 9 of wands means that tenacity will win. If you can just keep going, a little engine that could, if you just keep going up the hill, you will eventually break the burden. Because there's smoke. 7 of cups, there's smoke there. And so where there's smoke, there's fire. So there's something to this that is bigger than just him. So that's why I too agree that there is something else behind the scenes, something else that will come up of this. As far as this being something that destroys Santos in the end, I don't know, but it's something else to it, is all I'm saying for this.
Yeah, I don't think it's fatal.
No.
It's one of those join the queue scenarios. You know?
Yes.
Unless he stole their checkbooks while he was fondling them, or their credit cards.
Yeah, probably.
Knowing him, you know.
In the comments, Joe Schmo says, "Where's the National Enquirer when you need it?"
Yeah. I mean, it's cartoonish at this
It's
point.
too busy trying to find where Elvis is. That's what.
Terry says he owns the National Enquirer.
Well, speaking of National Enquirer, Donald Trump's former attorney by the name of Evan Corcoran testified to the grand jury that Jack Smith has at his disposal. Did he give up any information that will be...
He's one of his lead attorneys, I think.
I don't want to say damaging because that's not very neutral, but is his testimony damaging to Donald Trump's defense? I'll say it that way.
Yeah. Is it significant?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. He was around, I think, because I remember his name, and God knows I don't remember the last 47 attorneys. So he must have been around for a while and seen a bit.
And apparently he was a civil rights attorney too, and did work for the ACLU.
Well, it's like Dershowitz, isn't it? When the good guys go to the dark side and it's all over, and they bring all that expertise. And
It's just such a bizarre thing.
Think about the voting. So I'm going to say like the Electoral College or the interfering in Georgia's votes. He didn't tell everything he knew to the grand jury here. He didn't tell everything. He knows more. So he's kind of celebrating. He thinks he kind of got away with it. You know, he's still in service to Trump. So did he flip on him? No. I think he told partial truths at best. Has to do with the votes. Something about the votes. So I don't think he was giving stuff on like January 6th, that kind of thing. I think it had
He was supposed to be talking about documents, I thought. But my first card too said something about votes. So Lena, what you...
Is
yeah,
this
it's a bit mystifying in a way. So he's going all out to keep his own reputation intact, because if he goes too far, he crosses certain legal lines. So this is the overarching card. I think he will spill something, because God knows there's enough, you know. He could talk for 9 hours about things and still only cover a grain of sand in the illegality. So I think he gives something up here. My card sort of split to Jack Smith, because this is the Biden card. So the last card, I think, means Jack Smith will do his best to skewer him, or has, or will, or something, more than he wanted to give, but it still won't be everything.
What'd you get, Becca?
The Clover, the book, and the tower. Was he involved with the classified documents somehow, or was he?
That's what they were questioning him on.
Because there's a classified right there with the book and the tower. So did he give him anything? I would say yes. Right here, there's an opportunity here and he took it in regards to these classification that is bureaucratic, that's legal. So I think he did. I don't know. I thought he was involved with the fake. I don't even know who this guy is. So
I get Queen of Pentacles and Seven of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles, my card, my America card. And then the 7. So there's something maybe in the documents about voting. There's something about votes or votes casted or something like that. I don't know exactly what. But there's the Devil as well, naturally, because why not? In the Star, there is also something, a plan that was supposed to repeat. It was supposed to be implemented once and then again and again and again, but in multiple places. And so I don't know if that was a thing with the voting, or maybe they had some sort of plan and classified it. I don't know. I have no idea. Then there's a change to the 10 of Pentacles, something about census. And so I don't know if that is classified as well, or if there is some sort of redistricting things, or I don't know. There's something about census as well.
Yeah, because the census is all jacked up.
Numbers and families. So I don't know why he knows that, but there you go. But he gave a little bit, just not everything. Now here's the thing too. Word of warning for anybody out here in the comment section who would like to indulge in crime. If they find you or somebody you know, and then they go and they question those people, do understand if they question you once, they can question you again. Putting you on trial is a whole different thing than questioning you. As long as they can find you, they'll question you again. So you might as well just.
And if they're questioning everybody around you, you're probably a target.
And before you even get there, lying to the FBI before you get to a grand jury is also a federal crime. Just saying. Just saying. So you can perjure yourself to the FBI, and then you can perjure yourself to the grand jury.
Johnny, I've got a question about Mike Pence while we're talking about the grand jury.
Well, he's next if you go right ahead.
Well, here's my thing. Mike Pence hasn't talked to Trump since he left office and almost got his ass hung and everything else. He's been saying, we shouldn't go after Trump and stuff, but he's not talking with him. Now that he's been subpoenaed by Jack Smith, all of a sudden Trump and his lawyers are going after executive privilege with Mike Pence. So did Mike Pence call him up and say, hey, they subpoenaed me, give me executive privilege or whatever? Or did Trump, is he pushing it on Pence?
So are Pence and Trump in cahoots?
Is Trump pushing it on
Pence? Or is Trump trying
Pence
to put him under duress and say, hey, be on my side?
Or is Trump witness tampering?
I mean, I wouldn't, but again, listen, these people have no scruples, but I wouldn't help you do nothing, including tie your shoes if you lost both your hands. You just tried to kill me because I wouldn't decertify the election. And you want me to help you do anything? Child, please.
No.
I can't imagine him calling and saying, okay, you got to go after executive privilege or I have to go in a justice court. I can't imagine him making that phone call.
That's funny that you say that because my reading ends up with birds.
There was a call.
I get the snake, the clover, the birds. Lying about the change here, the insurrection, in a meeting or a phone call. So, but I don't see him making that. I just don't see him calling Trump.
No, I don't either. I think playing his cards close to his chest here in relation to Trump. The problem with executive privilege, which this is now for this purpose my card of executive privilege, the smug merchant laughing, wouldn't that only cover conversations between Pence and Trump? It doesn't cover every conversation Pence has and he was talking to his security people, who I think are represented here by the Star, and other government officials. So I think Jack Smith will, if anyone can, get the other information. He almost doesn't need the actual last little bit in the chain between the Yeti and Pence. He can make it up from the other pieces of the communication puzzle.
I think Trump contacted him because Trump's trying to keep him close, and I think Trump sought Pence out and is trying to gaslight him. So I think Trump is witness tampering big time.
I was just going to say, like, Jenny, isn't that witness tampering?
It's witness tampering, trying to create chaos, saying, and he's telling him, I'm going to burden this through the courts, executive privilege. It's going to give birth to another legal thing because he's witness tampering is what I'm getting.
I just don't understand Pence. Like, from the point of view of that must have been terrifying that day, right? On every level.
Wouldn't get in the car and leave. He knew not
and
to.
Wouldn't get in the car. So there's two major life-changing experiences there. The noose and the name calling, and then not being able to trust the whole security thing. And yet he's still carrying on and wanting to be well, I don't understand that.
Don't prosecute Trump for those documents.
But here's the thing, though. You would think he had his wife and daughter there. He had his wife and daughter there, and he's like, oh, you tried to kill me in front of my family and possibly kill my family too.
But I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
tells you how much he cares about mother.
Do not get it.
I mean, he sat next to the man for 4 years. I don't get that either.
No,
So
me either, exactly.
I mean, just one thing after the other. I get the 9 of Pentacles, so securing something, and then the 5 of Swords. So there's the bully. And then there's 2 men here possibly having conversations about that securing with the King of Cups, King of Pentacles. So I don't know if these are like 2 different lawyers, one on each side type of thing, but maybe they're the ones having the conversations because I get the Knight of Pentacles. So maybe somebody that's hired. So it could be their lawyers or representatives or whatever. There's a 10 of Swords, the Moon, 5 of Wands, 9 of Swords. So all the good cards came out. There is something about... yes, I think he is trying to witness tamper and bully because he is very, very, very afraid because this is how it ends. He is very afraid about what's going to come out, especially around the insurrection. But at the same time, because he wants him to lie, he wants him to create a scenario, a story, a fabrication, an illusion, a smokescreen. Like you don't necessarily have to lie, you just have to create a new story type of thing. So maybe Trump was not inciting a riot. Maybe he was just trying to create a peaceful protest and then things got out of hand. So
but
talk me up.
But he's so stupid. It's like, does he not realize that they've probably questioned everybody else, like 80 people down the chain before you in front of the grand jury? So everything that you guys think that you're smart enough to finagle will be completely disputed by previous testimony. So now you both got caught lying. Like,
what is motivating Pence right now? To Lena's point, like, is he afraid of the base that wanted to hang him? Like, is he afraid for his life? So he
I get that. I get that. Right. Well, you would be.
Is he so politically motivated he wants to win over that base for his own political aspirations?
Yeah, exactly. But he will always have to have some degree of fear of the MAGA base, literally, because they will always blame him for this. So he has to have security for life anyway.
But
But what makes him think he could possibly get in without the MAGA vote?
he wasn't even a successful governor in his home state when he was governor. He
Yeah,
lost re-election. So it's like, what makes you think?
I do not get it.
So is that the
So
question?
what's his motivation? What is
Okay.
Pence's motivation? It's like a flip-floppy fish.
What is his real motivation?
Chiefs are ahead 27 to 24.
If you're buffering, I don't know, because mine is not, my internet's not dropping
No.
in. So
Try turning everything off and coming in again.
Leave the video and come back.
These
Got
cards are
1
funny.
We know Trump doesn't want you to be his running mate again.
It's too square.
I can jump in if you like.
Go right ahead.
What is his rationale? Well, he gets the fool. And so there are many interpretations of the fool, but in fact, you only need one. The word says it all. Not complex. Why is he running? That would be mother, the wife. It's so silly. But here's the thing. He thinks now, because I think this is also his wife again with the Queen of Wands there, but also with the Four of Swords. Now the evangelicals are peeling away because they've had 5 years of trying to explain to their children why they supported this vulgarian, and they are splintering off the hardcore evangelicals. He's hoping to pick up that vote and carry it forward, the Christian banner thing. And this is with the 10 of Pentacles, which can be the card of inheritance and stuff. It's like for him, it's a legacy go-to. Since he was 12 or whatever, he's been going for this role. And because he hasn't spent an hour in the real world, he hasn't changed that habitual goal. So you know how some people, they marry their high school sweetheart, and at 33 they decide what they're going to do when they retire, and they're going to get the Winnebago and go around the country or something, and they never look at that again. And it's like that. That's my vibe on it. He doesn't think, he doesn't plan independently of the wife, and so he's still in his 16-year-old goal.
It's interesting. I get he's motivated by wanting to the White House, wanting to secure the White House. Trump makes him anxious, and he worries about having to defend himself against Trump. He's worried about his security, so he's doing a little song and dance that's going this way and that way. He knows he is burdened if he talks about Trump in the courts. But I also get that he's involved in some corruption in the Republican Party with either Russian oligarchs or Russia, he might have been aware of all the media stuff that Russia was doing, the propaganda and everything. I get he was working on some of that, so he knows some of that, and he knows somebody could talk about that.
Yeah, and that sort of reminds me, because Trump took everything in this whole new horrific direction, we forget how corrupt the GOP was before, and the NRA and all that stuff, and the Russian money and the planting of the honey. What do they call those female spies?
The honey
Not
pots.
honey pots. What is it?
The honey pots.
Yeah, that thing. That's all sort of just been pushed to the back because of it. And he represents the link between that old school corruption, which is almost conventional.
Don't forget,
before outrageous stuff.
Before the sanctions, his brother sold equipment to Russian oligarchs That's how his brother
There
made a
you
lot of
go.
money, and he was invested in his brother's company. It was a contract he had with Russia.
Yeah.
Good God.
Construction equipment he sold them.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Becca?
I got the Stork's Coffin, what is this book? Crossroads and Key. Why is he on board with Trump? Because he knows that they can't improve and they can't change what he learned from them trying to change the elections. He's on board with that. With Stork's book and Key, now that they learned how they can change things and to give them access to elections and other avenues that may be closed, except they got caught. But he was on board with it, completely on board. Like, okay, yeah, we lost, but I'm on board if we can stay in power. And not just for this election, also upcoming elections as well.
Yeah.
So besides the gerrymandering and the voter suppression, everything else that happens.
Not a problem.
Not a problem with throwing out democracy so long as we can stay in power and we
Awesome.
win. So that's how I'm interpreting that spread.
So, put on my preacher message hat for today. Mike Pence rose politically. He was a governor. That's no small feat.
Yeah.
He was a governor. Now, for those young, doughy-eyed kids who want to be in positions of power, be CEOs of this, or run for office and, help build up their cities and states and that type of thing, that's a big thing. It's a big accomplishment. However, if you get into a position where your integrity falters and someone else has the pen to write your life, you end up like Mike Pence, to where he has no control over his life. He's on a lead. Somebody is just controlling him.
He couldn't even get a fly off his head.
You have to be in control of your own life. You have to participate in the changes that you want. He is not doing that. He doesn't know any better story. Again, there's that moon and the tower is revelation. He has no real control. He is not writing this story. He is just participating in somebody else's script.
He can't think on his feet fast to make up a different story either. He's not.
Well, I don't think he has a reference point outside of small town, wherever he comes from. It's like Michael Jackson being brought up in the goldfish bowl of fame, right? The older brothers, when the family still had not much, and they worked at Walmart stocking shelves and stuff, they had a life and then became famous, and he didn't. And I think part of what happened to Michael Jackson was the fact he didn't know how the world worked outside of that. I know it's weird to compare the two, but it's like that. Mike Pence, he could have a different life tomorrow. He could divorce mother and run off to Cancun with a rent boy and have a life, but he won't, because it would not cross his little evangelical brain.
Somebody else is writing his script.
Someone else. I think you've absolutely nailed it with that. And he's just nods and keeps going with someone else's. And he's completely detached. And I think that's part of why he's so detached, because he isn't driving his own life. I think you've really nailed it.
So I just have a small, simple question for that one is, will he cooperate with Jack Smith?
Yeah, let's throw it general. What wrong cards? Here we go. What I'd like to ask after this, if you don't mind, is can we rely on Jack Smith? We are all holding the candle for this guy and he looks the part, but
like we did for Mueller.
Yeah, exactly.
But what we've discovered, it's not the special counsel, it's the AG that decides what happens once they've done their thing. So
yeah,
I think more appropriately, can we rely on Merrick Garland?
Yeah, maybe we do have to add that.
Because we couldn't rely on Bill Barr to do the right thing with the Mueller report.
No.
Mischaracterized it.
Sorry, what is our question again?
Will Mike Pence cooperate?
No. better cards than I thought. So just jumping in here. The Fool, in a slightly more sophisticated sort of thing, is it's like he realizes on some level he has to enter a new phase. There's a lot of conflict, I think, in his own little hardly working brain about what he should and shouldn't do, what he should and shouldn't say, what are the repercussions of this, that, and it's going round and round in his head. But I think Jack Smith is making it crystal clear to him that the choices are extremely limited. We've got the legacy card again in the sense of I don't think he can escape this, and there's a bit of resignation in it here, and the World card. So both of these major arcana, one after the other, to me is saying part of him will put it to bed finally to move forward, even if it's for his own perverted reasons of wanting to be president. He'll think, well, I better do all this because it won't be, like we said before, he won't be completely forthcoming, but it's enough to be seen as cooperation. I think I'm leaning more to that.
It's interesting too. You get the Fool in the World at beginning and the end. So it's like you have a lot to say. There's a lot of stuff in between the beginning and the end.
Yeah, he has more knowledge that he's going to give up, because there's a whole planning thing with the fake electors and how they tried to get him to block, the Electoral College vote. He will talk about things very strongly that are directly with what they asked him to do. He is not going to talk about everybody in all the other states they partnered with to send in the fake elector votes. But they will be successful in getting him to talk about what directly implicates him, if that makes sense.
I get, now, I'll believe it when I see it, but I get the 8 of Wands and the 6 of Pentacles. There's the sharing time, money, information, talking. So there is some information that he is indeed giving up. The 8 of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles, you are going to have to force him, though. So this is not voluntary. I think he may have I don't want to call it sense of honor, because that's like dry water. So there's a sense of maybe religious obligation to where you have to be a stand-up kind of person. I still don't want to say that either, but you get what I'm saying. There's something about him that makes him want to appear to be neutral, or appear to be cooperative, or appear to be non-combative with Jack Smith and the investigation and things of that nature. So the Ace of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles, there is some information, clarity, and truth. I don't think he's going to lie, but is he going to give up everything? No, but I think he will actually offer some information.
And there's probably a lot in the public domain he doesn't even have to venture into, much that isn't known, sort of thing. So could go. Now, Delilah says he'll take the 5th. Does anyone know? I don't think you can in this sort of grand jury scenario. Is that right or wrong?
I think he can plead the 5th. I think he could always plead the 5th.
But isn't he there as a fact witness, though?
Because if he's going to self-incriminate, that's why you would plead the 5th. But I don't think he would go, well, you never know with these people, but he may not. We'll see. So to Lena's question, though, can we rely? Well, let's group them in there. Jack Smith and Merrick Garland. Can we rely on them?
I don't think Jack Smith has subpoenaed Mark Meadows yet. If I recall, it's like that's a key player he needs to be calling into the grand jury.
Yeah.
Once he's got so much dirt on him already, he's ready to indict him and doesn't want to call him in. Yeah, he's not going to call Trump in. Trump's the target. I get yes, yes, and handing out indictments all around and anybody connected to it. I get 2 yeses. And that's a big one. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. It's going to, there'll be more indictments later.
I get that. Look, with Jack, I've done little separate cards. So for Jack Smith, there's tremendous optimism and hope around what he's capable of doing. The world is watching Jack Smith. There is no doubt. But his next 2 cards, walking away and out in the cold, that worries me for part 2, which is what will happen to his work. So in other words, he'll do the job really well, but what will happen? Then I went to Garland's cards, which were a bit better than I thought, but you know, he does have the victory card here. Hardcore messaging about what happened, but it's still a page. Garland will hold on to stuff for his own reasons, and they could be national security reasons or something else. But there was the victory card in there that Garland will come through at some point. But we're not going to get everything we want from Garland. Did you pull on this, Becca?
Yes. I got the fish, the fox, and the ring. Yeah. Not just those 2, but the people that are working there as well. So like an abundance of workers there that are committed to the job. So not just them, but the people behind them that are, you know.
Okay.
I get the Knight of Cups and the 7 of Pentacles. There is something to that is offered maybe for referral that doesn't get steam or attention. I don't know if it has something to do with votes or campaigns or violations thereof. But the 2 of Cups and the Star. So they are on the same accord with something here to push forward, to go forward with. So I don't think this is going to be Bill Barr 0.2 or 2.0. I think they are actually going to go forward with something and actually charge. And so I don't think this is something where Jack Smith say, hey, you can do this, and this. And then they say, okay, well, thank you for your work. And then nothing ever happens. And so I think there is something that comes out of this. The 8 of Wands, 6 of Wands. So speaking to someone in position of importance, and then it ends in the 8 of Pentacles. So attention to detail and the work actually being done with that 3 of Cups. So I think, yes, as of right now, I get yes.
I have a question, Johnny.
Yes, ma'am.
We all know that Trump's MO is to run out the clock, even though I don't think that there is statute of limitations on, I don't know, insurrection. But because we're coming up this year when people start announcing, and right before the midterms as well, will this cause them to kind of hold back a little bit? Say that they get stuff within, you know, that they're going to have to fight Mike Pence to testify before a grand jury because Trump's going to take it all the way to the Supreme Court for executive privilege. So that's going to delay it a little bit. And then by the time, perhaps, I'm just guesstimating, by the time we hear back, it'll be right during midterms. And it's not a rule. It's more like an ethics thing to not announce anything big before midterms.
An election.
So can we see that if we'll hear anything significant about this case or these cases before midterms?
Well, 2024, it's not midterms. It's will we see indictments this year? Because once we get into the
before
election,
2024,
will we see indictments like on Trump?
Just before that, Karen is answering that question on taking the fifth. You can take the fifth during grand jury testimony, but then if Jack Smith can immediately offer immunity, if you now I'm remembering this, if you accept the immunity from prosecution, you cannot take the fifth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Score is 27-21, bottom of the third quarter. Less than 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. 27-21 Eagles.
Oh, it's close.
Eagles are up.
Sorry, my geriatric brain. The question again.
Will there be indictments for Trump from Jack Smith and Garland this year?
This year.
Before we get into the election year.
Because Trump then will say it's political. They're trying to come after me. It's political.
2023. Will there be big indictments?
Now, I'm just asking about DOJ because he's got a whole bunch of other criminal investigations at the states. So I just asked specifically about DOJ, not New York, not Georgia, not anywhere else. So.
I get a yes. I was a little nervous because I was like, that's
I know.
50-50 on the bottom. But I get like there's a lot of options of what they want to go after with him. But I think it's going to come down to those electoral votes. That they've got a lot of details on that and how he tried to secure votes. So whether it's what happened in Georgia or all the states with the electoral votes. There's a woman also who is stabbing Trump in the back. I think that's Cassidy Hutchinson. That's my feeling I'm getting off the card because she had a lot of inside knowledge of what was going on in the White House and with her boss, Mark Meadows. So I get Trump is going to have steady indictments. Several. So he may get one or two from Justice Department, and then they come back and they give some.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting too, because as we sit here, there's still some confusion about there's so many offences, so many crimes, so little time, there's still some confusion about which to really go for, but they're almost there. He will defend and delay. Then all of a sudden, like Jen Lynn just said, I think there'll be multiples. It'll be just boom, boom, boom once it comes. Plus Ace of Wands, a serious blow coming, which will bring us all some major relief with the Lovers card. God knows we've been patient.
Well, you think? You think, Lena? I mean, we should all be saints. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I was saying to someone the other day, it's like telling the 3-year-old you've been so naughty and you're not going to get a 6th birthday party.
Exactly.
It's just stupid.
I want to say a quick thank you to Cold Toes for the PayPal donation. Thank you. I think we talked about that earlier, that we can't reply on PayPal for, but thank you. Thank you so much. I get a yes. For DO, I didn't ask about Fannie Willis or anybody else. I just asked DOJ. Oh, yes. Yes.
What did you get, Doug?
No. There's the 6 of Cups and the 2 of Wands. There is some plans to do some things that come from the Wayback Machine. So some stuff that you had or been sitting on or that you have built up over time, some stuff that's coming back. And these also could be the people around him going down first. The Queen of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, though, there's an opportunity to do so. So it's not like it doesn't exist. You just have to follow through with it. But I get the 5 of Swords in Justice. So some sort of defeats being handed out with the justice system there. And the Five of Cups is how it ends. And so it's like a regret that you did not, but it could change. Why? Because I get the Hangman and the Word of Solace. So this is one of them things to where you can flip it on his head and then do it, or you can wait, because this is also a card of stagnant. So you're stalling for something. So I don't know. Maybe someone just pushes the card over the edge and it all comes falling in, or like I said, no.
Johnny, there is a mountain of stuff. And then just recently, besides the insurrection and every other 8 million crimes he committed while in office, we're now finding out that all of the classified documents that he stole and then refused to give back, and then
yeah, true,
and all that stuff, we just found out that he had electronic copies of those classified documents on an
and we're moving around. Yeah.
So I mean, for the love of God, at least nail him to the wall for that. Now we're talking national security.
Hunter Biden's laptop, no, Donald Trump's laptop.
Well, we know he doesn't use equipment, so someone else would have had to scan every classified document with classified written all over it.
It was an aid. It was
so
their
they have to be, feet to the fire.
And they had it, and I'm like, please let it be Steve Miller, so we can at least nail that Nazi to the wall for like all eternity,
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like once someone has the courage to actually put his name on a proper legal indictment, then I think everyone else will be like dominoes.
Everybody else will jump on the bandwagon. So I'm rooting for Fami Willis. Come on, Georgia. Come on.
Well, the word imminent was used. And I just saw a Mary Trump podcast the other day talking in depth about what the word imminent means to most people. And it's not this, So, Fami
Willis. I would love the poetic justice in a Black woman.
Wouldn't it be perfection? Yeah.
Poetic justice right there.
Well, the GOP, Ronna McDaniel, I want to know what is okay, because Donald Trump is not who they want as a candidate.
No, they don't.
But at the same time, she can't come out and wag the finger either, because they're all afraid of him still, or at least his base, which I don't understand. It's only a fraction of your fraction. So anyhow,
they've rabidized that base, who they've stoked to a frenzy where they're okay with committing political violence.
Yeah.
That's the Frankenstein they created. It's okay if they go out and terrorize everybody else with their guns. Just don't come after us.
Now they're holding you for ransom.
Yeah.
So I want to know what her position will be for 2024. Will she be in support of the regular GOP, or will she falter to the Trump?
Are they still paying his legal bills, Johnny? Because didn't they say that?
I haven't heard they stopped, at least.
Yeah, that's right. It was a whisper that went out. We all heard it, but if they're not, then nobody would be.
Because they had said a while ago that if he ran, they were going to stop paying his legal bills. Well, months ago.
So shall we build that into our Rona question?
Oh, that was just me spewing poo-poo out of my mouth. But
but she's in charge. That's part of her role, I think, to sign off on the paying of the fees.
By all means.
Again, we had is Ronna McDaniel. What is her role in 2024? Will she support the regular GOP, or will she falter to the crazy?
Ronna McDaniel, I think.
Sorry, it's gone so long. Rutro had a Rutro moment.
This will have to be my last question. Then I can go. Okay, Ronna McDaniel. Yeah. Oh, God, I don't know. What does this mean?
Lucy's ready for a close-up.
Ready for a close up, Mr.
She's gonna go where the money tells her to go.
Yeah.
The donors. Backstabbing, creating chaos, doing what they've always done, theatrics, betrayals, try to get to higher ground, but she's going to go where the money tells her to go, and she'll still be supporting corrupt, crazy people that get away with stuff. Even if they're running for the White House.
She's a funny one. It's hard to get a handle on her, or is that just me?
She's slippery. She's slippery.
She is slippery. Okay, what I got, it started with the strength card. So she's not a little water lily or anything. She's stronger than I probably appreciated. I could say that much. I think she'd be actually quite scary behind the scenes. She doesn't care whose heart she breaks, right? She's actually, she's more powerful than I sort of realized, I think, doing this spread. She has her own hidden agenda, doesn't care who gets in the firing line. Other people are conflicted about her, which is why they didn't want her, but no one else, I think, got the votes or something.
Michael and Mike got 4.
And then there was the other crazy QAnon MAGA lady, too.
Exactly. I think it was the lack of choice that got her in there again. And following the money, as long as the money's coming in, I'm happy. And then whoops, last card, the Tower. So I think they'll look for a scapegoat in a couple of years, and she'll be one of the scapegoats. Like now they don't care what she does or says, but then when they're looking, she'll be on the list then. And I think she'll go from hero to zero, one of those in a year or two.
Will she support Donald Trump? No. I got the tree, the scythe, the crossroads, clover, and birds. No, he is unable to provide any growth for the upcoming elections. They're already negotiating on who the next winner is going to be. However, with that said, that win is small. It's not a big win. So whoever they're leaning towards or they're talking about, because it's clover birds, the clover is a small little win. It's not huge. The scythe is the Jack of Diamonds. Crossroads is Queen of Diamonds. So there's possibly 2 people right now that they're talking about. But keep in mind, the chances are
slim.
Just saying.
I have a follow-up question too, Johnny, after you go.
Okay. They are stealing from chaos. There's the 7 of Swords and the Knight of Swords here. So what is her role going to be? The Knight of Cups and the Ace of Wands, telling a very pretty story to the chaotic people. So this may be one of those things where they're trying to win over the MAGA base and get Trump on board as well, especially if he's not the nominee. Because somebody's getting pushed out here, and this is something that the world will see. I think they're going to go with the new possibility with the Empress card. So this is like one of those, we're going to go in a new direction. It's not you, it's us type of thing.
And wouldn't it be lovely too if he doesn't get the nomination and he splits off? And I'm only thinking that because of the
police
splits off and goes independent. Well, guess what? You just ruined the Republican chances because now you're taking your crazies with you.
Yeah.
And
the best possible outcome.
Speaking of split off, Rona had split from Mitt Romney. So what did she think about Mitt confronting Santos, something she hasn't done at the State of the Union?
Right.
Yeah.
What did she think of her Uncle Mitt?
Is that the question that we're asking?
Uh-huh.
So what does Ronna McDaniel think of her uncle?
Mitt confronting George Santos. Was she like, yay, go, because she wasn't going there with George? Or was she like, oh my?
I don't think she gave a flying toss. This and the circus card, dancing on her own pony, she's out there on a limb, not paying attention. And my personal favourite, the three of that's her. Funny. Yeah, I don't think. Because I don't think any of them take Mitt Romney seriously. This is part of the problem. He could dance on the high wire and no one in the GOP would take any notice whatsoever. They just let the Mormon do the highbrow.
I guess she thinks that Mitt was trying to change his image through bullying. So maybe he thought he was coming across as too weak and ineffective, that he was like trying to change his image a little bit.
What have you got, John?
Yeah, I don't think she cared either.
Yes, that's right. It was so clear. Yeah. Didn't pay it no mind. All right, guys, love you and leave you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining.
I'll invite myself back in future months.
Whatever you want.
Anytime.
Bye.
Besitos. Bye, everybody in the chat. Ciao.
Bye. I get that she's a bit nervous because of the attention that this young liar is getting. That's quite ambitious. So I think that's the only thing she's really thinking is
concerned about.
Yeah.
So we talked about this.
Yes, sir. What is it?
Betweenst us, but I'm going to walk the eggshells of monetization with this conversation.
Uh-oh.
For entertainment purposes only, YouTube.
People in the Republican Party would love it if Donald Trump dropped dead, apparently.
Oh yeah, they're all saying it behind closed doors.
This is a real conversation between Republicans. Like,
Did they know
not just go away. No, they want him to die.
And they think that that's the only way they're going to get rid of him is because of his horrible eating habits.
No, they're happy about that. It's been coming out and reporting that he's old. He eats like a frat boy, like a college frat boy. He thinks exercise is bad, and they're just waiting for him to drop dead. Like,
so what I want to know, not is anybody going to try to act upon it or anything like that, but is this a majority? Let me ask that first.
so is the majority of the Republican Party
Hoping he.
do they have a voodoo doll at home that they just
And then is there a plan?
They're just tick-tock.
Victory card on the bottom. I'd say, yep, that's a majority. They are burdened and ready to ditch him. It's a little more than 50-50 I'm getting. Yeah, he makes them anxious, makes them all anxious. It's like, yeah.
Y'all just come out and say it, man. Just come out and say it. Just because you say it behind closed doors. I get a yes. I got the mountain, the whip, and the birds. So they see him as a pain in the ass, and they're all talking about it, and they're all thinking about it, like what a pain in the butt he is, and they just hope to get rid of the problem.
Thank you, Joanne.
So there is truth to that gossip, I would say.
There are 3 cards in the tarots for me for exposure. 1 is the sun, because you can't hide anything in the sun. 2 is the star. You're not trying to hide anything. It's voluntary exposure. The tower is forced exposure, so ripping open the doors type thing. And I got the hermit in the tower. I think this was supposed to stay behind closed doors. And then there's the high priestess and the devils. They were trying to keep this secret. Trying to.
But everything leaks from them. Is that the devil with the...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
It was supposed to stay behind closed doors. So here's my question now.
Oh, well, okay. Can I please modify my answer? The only person I think is not hoping and wishing it is Lindsey Graham, because he's been wearing the orange makeup too. Have you seen him with the orange makeup? He's been painting himself orange now to look just like Donald Trump.
Lord.
You're hoping to be the next replacement or something.
Oh my God. How pathetic.
Is there anyone behind those closed doors that has made a call, an email or a Google
A little plan of action, a little inquiry.
about how such a thing could come about if they were to like hit fast forward and try to get to the end of the book? Is there anybody who not plotted, but just Googled, how do we get a person to be on
Make
hold?
this happen.
How do we stage an accident? How can we accident?
How do I buy tickets to the park without using my own credit card? Has anybody just Googled it all?
Maybe that's what George Santos is there for, the liar with the multiple identities.
I mean, he probably killed Kennedy and Lincoln, so, you know.
What are you talking about? Kennedy isn't dead. They're still waiting for him to come.
Oh, that's true. He's going to be the VP for Trump.
At 100 and something years old.
It's half a brain.
We're still
The
waiting.
Democrat. Lord. Has anybody just Googled it? That's all I want to know.
If you watch that video, you know that person's not coming back.
Thank you, Karen.
I got the bear, the book, the birds. I'm going to say yes, and they may have had some meetings about it, and I'm going to say Pompity Pompeo. That's just me. Remember, it's the birds. This could just be gossip. Okay? But someone big, heavy set in a position of power, some sort of an executive that works around secrets, that was privy to meetings that were taking place that were supposed to be secret. For that reason, I'm saying Pompeo. So
That's interesting because I get a yes and somebody like large and in charge.
mhm.
Secret things, trying to create chaos to take them out, like through make it look like an accident.
Yeah, and wasn't Pompeo
Image
CIA? Wasn't Pompeo CIA?
Yeah,
So someone that's around secrets, classified stuff. Mm-hmm.
So there's the Fool. There. There's the Eight of Wands.
Wait, Johnny, is that full card a streetwalker?
No, she is. She has shut down her store and she's traveling somewhere. Just
Oh, okay. Okay.
Undercover. I got a little road trip I got to make. Look at that on the turtle's back.
Yeah. Mr. Coddle's back right there.
there's the Eight of Wands talking to someone to hire with the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles, the difference, the Eight of Pentacles is steady work, day to day, in and out.
So in other words, hire a porn star.
The Knight of Pentacles is the person you hire. This is something you hire to do one thing, fix your roof, not fix your roof every day type of thing. So there's that. And then, yes, there's some strength person. So someone larger than you. Soft voice, though. So the speak softly, carry the instrument of choice type of thing. And then they're starred. I think somebody did. Now, this could have been a long time ago when put out a hit on him too. Remember the $80 million or $8 million or whatever it was. So I'm just leave it at that. Donald Trump and Alina Habba have been sanctioned, and they are trying to appeal that sanction because they got sanctioned for the frivolous lawsuits. So will their sanction appeal?
Something that was sanctioned, so she's got a fine of over $1 million to pay now.
That's a lot of money. She's not the billionaire here.
I just don't understand. Is it worth it for your 5 minutes of fame on a bullcrap failing network, OANN and Newsmax and all that stuff, to get fined? You lose your law license, end up with possible criminal charges. I mean, there's a sucker born every day, I guess.
So what's the question?
The question is, will they be successful in their appeal? I had not seen yet, unless somebody knows in the chat, if there has been a decision, but they're trying to appeal it.
All their appeals they've done so far, the judge scolded them because they're using the same principles over and over. And they're like, no, we've already made a decision on that. You can't use that. They're so stupid. 35-27 Chiefs. This is a seesaw game going back and forth.
I gotta know that won't get their hopes to get some sort of a reward come to an end with the stars, the bouquet, and the coffin. No, their appeals are going to go into the trash can.
And thank all 1,500 of y'all for being here on Super Bowl Sunday.
They're gonna get another sanction.
For the sanction and appealing the sanction.
For all their endeavors, they're going to get charged more. Like here's another fine on that. They're just trying to create chaos and delay tactics here. Yeah, they're going to have a big money problem here because they're just going to get fine after fine. This is the judge just doling it out, sanction after sanction. Now you owe me $2 million. Now you owe me $5 million.
Will they be successful? No. Two of Pentacles.
Now, is that Trump or Bobbitt or Babbitt or whatever?
This is probably her. So
Right.
that's the two of them there.
The orange suit.
Can you imagine Donald Trump in an orange and a yellow body? It's painful enough seeing him in his golf clothes, man. Like,
That's him without the golf clothes.
oh, now
So he can put his Hitler dress on in the middle there.
with his thong.
Speaking of thongs, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or as she has been known as the Yeast Beast, she says that Congress is making her miserable, actually. And she complained about the wage because I guess she's worth $50 million and y'all ain't paying her enough. Is she really getting tired of politics, or is she just getting tired of fighting? Because I want to know what her
No time
political
for
aspirations.
family.
Is she just not reaching them? Is she like, what's making her miserable? Is that because you're the source of contention for everybody?
I think she's just trying to play the victim. Like, oh, poor me. I have to stay in Washington. I don't get time with my family. Well, your husband doesn't want to spend time with you. Your kids probably don't either.
I wouldn't.
Can you imagine her following her kids around the house, badgering them like she did the kids from Parkland?
I just saw little snippets of the hearing they had the other day where they were, I forgot who they, was it the Twitter stuff or something? And somebody, was it Jamie Raskin or something, they got into a little tiffy because the witness said her name or whatever. She's like, she got all sorts of pissed off. And it's
because
like,
they mentioned her name. And she was like, like she wanted to speak, and Jamie was like, "No, you can't interrupt him. He's on the clock right now. You can't interrupt a testimony."
I haven't watched the hearings. I've just been watching little snippets here and there on YouTube, but it's hilarious. It's like the middle school debate team with the Republicans going up against the law school graduate debate team. You know what I mean? It's like they are so outmatched. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. You're enjoying the hearings, Peggy? I'm just loving how everything's just blowing up in their faces. It's hilarious.
I get no, she's not tired of politics. She's just trying to ride it out because they're painting her as being emotional. So she's trying to defend herself by trying to be more emotional. So she's playing the victim.
Get emotional and chaotic is who she is. This is in her mind you. 9 of Swords. Page of Swords, not Page of Swords, Page of Cups and Knight of Swords. I mean, she's nuts. I mean, that's not the nice way to, if I was teaching you, I wouldn't tell you to use that word. But the Prince of Petty is not going to say mentally disturbed. She's nuts. And so, yeah, this is just who she is. She's going to come up with another thing to say, another thing to do. It's coming from her. So who's making you miserable? I would love to meet that person because they need to run for president or something.
I got the clouds, the writer, the clover. Is she tired of politics? No. She's just trying to change the what's coming out about her that makes her look so like changing the narrative because it's really bad news, chaotic news coming out. And then there's like a little bit of a risk, a little bit of a chance there. So it's like
GOP representative Anna Paulina Luna.
Oh, that's the other one that got caught in line, right?
Is she going to be the new Santos? Apparently, she's lied about her heritage. She's lied about her former jobs and things. So she's building one of those Aesop fables too. So is she going to be the new George Santos? And a whole bunch of stuff is going to start coming out that she's lied about too.
What's her name again?
Make me say it again.
Paulina.
Anna somethings. Anna Paulina Luna.
She's from Florida too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Another one that all the lies are starting to come out. Like she was saying something and they found out that her grandfather was a Nazi or something.
Yeah, because she said she was Jewish too, but not ish. She said she was Jewish. And then one of her family tree people is a Nazi. I mean, not that she can't still be Jewish, you know, but
she looks like Steve Miller. I mean, come on.
Well, we're tied at 35-35 with less than 5 minutes to go.
I mean, I'm telling you, y'all, people in Florida are just dumb.
So is she the new George Santos to where she's going to be full of lies too?
This party gave us Herschel Walker, George Santos, and now this woman and MTG.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Robert. Oh my God.
But hey, that's what happens when you've spent the last 50, 60 years indoctrinating your base. This is what you get.
When you've been grooming your children to be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, cutting education, and then you get representatives like this.
To use one of their words on them, they've been groomed to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
Will she be the new George Santos, Johnny? I get a yes. And there's going to be more that comes out that's reported. I don't know if this is emails, text messages, something that comes out that is reported about her. That causes a problem. Stars, Letter Mountain. And she is not conservative.
Ooh, look at the major.
Lily's Crossroads tree, she is not a conservative. I bet you if they dig enough, they'll find out that she was perhaps at one point a Democrat, and she just kind of altered something to get the vote.
I'm getting major arcana. It's like something big's getting ready to blow up on her. Big changes to her image, something that she has manipulated that everybody else is going to look at differently. I'm going to say on her dad's side of the family this time, she may be asked to go. So where they won't get rid of George Santos, they'll ask the woman to go.
Oh, because there's nothing misogynistic about that at all.
Yeah, because that's what Republicans do.
The Two of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. Who is that? Okay, that's her. So Queen of Pentacles, Two of Cups. What is she? The new Santos? Yes. Actually, that was on my list too, Trillium Tarot. They have a Jesus campaign out there.
Wow.
Where they bought ads during the Super Bowl too.
That's a lot of money.
The campaign is basically trying to tell religious people or people of faith that Jesus was a refugee, that Jesus was a this and a that. So, humanize people that you are dehumanizing because Jesus was one of them too. So it's
the new George Santos, or
it's a very interesting campaign. But Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Cups, there's some lies about her relationships because I get the Lovers and the Devil too. So she lied about a lot of relationships, not just her personal ones, but her business ones as well, or her business ones are corrupt. And her personal ones are not corrupt, but devilish. They have I think they're not evil. They have a vibe to where if you were being judgmental, you would judge them, type of thing. They're very sordid. I'll say it that way. And then, Six of Pentacles, Four of Wands. A lot of information that was given out, especially about her home life, is also very, 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 very fake. Which leads me to the last question. Again, thank you all for coming out on Super Bowl Sunday, all 1,500 of y'all. We'll keep this in particular ball rolling. George Santos, what is his next lie? What is the next story? Like we did during COVID, what was their next cure? What is their next story about George Santos? What might be next?
I'm going to narrow it down. I'm going to say what's coming out on George Santos this week. What's the lie this week? I have to narrow it down because there's so many. Last week was he started the Vulgar Org in 2001 at the age of 13. He's still dressing up in his mama's dresses at that age.
Cool.
I'm gonna be stupid and petty. He had a business venture selling Christmas trees. I got the sun, the sun, the sun, the cross, the fish, the tree, and the garden. So he ran a Christmas tree farm with cross and tree, like a Christmas tree, and he had a very successful business, like on a farm or something. And he was selling trees.
There's a Christmas wreath on the world card. There's something that he was moving goods or moving something that everybody's going to be looking at differently, the money that he made off of it. And he bullied somebody out of money for moving said product. So if it's Christmas trees, it's Christmas trees. But I do have the world card here. He bullied somebody for money. Thank you, Tarot by the Bay.
I get something with the woman that he lived with. That's what I get. There might be a low person there too, but there's 10 of Cups, Queen of Wands, 4 of Wands, the house, Page of Cups, the kid, 10 of Cups, the family, Ace of Swords, 6 of Swords. Something about moving from some house where he was living with some woman.
So is that
something about a 3-way? So maybe he got the woman to move out.
Was that his ex-wife or his sister, right? Because he lives with his sister.
If that's his sister, I mean, that could be another ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, word of advice, don't marry gay men, okay? If you are a woman, that's not a very good basis for your relationship, is all I'm saying. So anyway, we will see y'all next week on Jen Lynn's channel. Remember, Jen is going to be live with Lori. Say it again, when?
Valentine's at 5 Eastern, 4 Central.
Okay. So be sure to y'all go check that out. There is a community post that is on Jen's channel if you want to leave questions there. And we'll see y'all next week.